The cost principles, which address the 4 tests to determine allowability of costs, do apply to foreign grantees. We've included the cost principles in the tips section of this presentation just to clarify the importance of applying principles when working with foreign investigators. I'm sure they all look very familiar to you if you're a domestic grantee, but it's also important to remember that the foreign collaborators need to understand the cost principles as well. So we've listed the reasonableness, which is a reasonable cost is one that is recognized as ordinary and necessary for the grantee to efficiently meet the performance of the ward. A reasonable cost should meet the limitations that a prudent person would apply. Allocability, goods or services assigned directly to the grant. Consistency, all costs that are charged as direct costs must be treated consistently for all work of the organization under similar circumstances. And that's true for all sources of funding received.
And often this one is an issue for foreign grantees or foreign subawardees. They're applying things differently just because it's an NIH award.
That's very true. Okay, conformance. The section on allowability, cost, activities provides information common to most NIH grants, specifies some of the distinctions if there's a different treatment based on the type of grant or recipient. So for direct costs, I'm sure most of you should be aware of the section in the NIH grants policy section, policy statement, which provides a subset of common allowable costs. There are, the list is obviously not all-inclusive, and there are direct costs that you may find foreign grantees might request, and actually some that are more specific for foreign than domestic. For instance, sometimes we will see motor vehicles requested under foreign grants, and that may be allowable, especially when there's a need to transport patients for clinical trials. We need to consider that resource-poor, resource-constrained countries don't always have the needs available, and so sometimes it's necessary to be able to get the patients to the clinics or the hospitals. So in some cases, we will definitely allow motor vehicles, and that's just one example. Most direct costs that are allowable for domestic grantees are also allowable for foreign grantees. So just as there are allowable costs, there are also unallowable costs specifically related to foreign grantees and foreign components. And those you can find in section 16.6 of the grants policy statement. And I've also included them here. So major A&R, which is A&R costs for over $500,000, is unallowable because that is really considered more of construction. And we don't have the statute for construction in our statutory regulations. So that is an unallowable cost. Patient care costs are provided only in exceptional circumstances, and that's mainly because patient care costs are tied to hospital rates and affiliated with Medicare. Oftentimes we'll see patient care costs included in the grant application, and what we will see may be incentive costs or costs that aren't truly considered patient care costs. And what we will do is generally move those costs into the other category. While they are still allowable, they just aren't allowable as patient care costs. So the next point I put here as a reminder, and that is that foreign grantees may not invest grant funds to defray the cost of inflation. While that might seem like a very obvious to domestic grantees, we've actually had this question before where a foreign grantee will say, oh, I just want to draw all the money down out of payment management, and we'll get some interest, and that will help pay for any cost for inflation. And we say, I'm sorry, we really can't do that.